There's a point, somewhere after midnight, where the road stops feeling like a place and starts feeling like something else. Like you're not traveling through it, you're inside it. I was hauling a refrigerated load northbound outside Columbia, nothing unusual. The reefer unit hummed steady behind me, that constant low drone you eventually tune out. It was just after 3 a.m., and I hadn't seen another vehicle in at least 20 minutes. That wasn't the strange part. The strange part was how quiet everything felt. No wind, no insects. Even the usual vibration of the truck felt muted, like the world had been turned down a notch. The first thing I noticed was the temperature. Inside the cab, it dropped, not gradually, just suddenly, like someone had opened a freezer door. I checked the vents. Still blowing the same, no change, but I could see my breath. I adjusted the heat. Nothing. It stayed cold, unnaturally cold. Then the reefer unit behind me changed pitch, just slightly. Enough that I noticed. It wasn't humming steady anymore. It was pulsing, low, then higher, then low again, like breathing. I frowned and reached for the CB. Anybody else hearing weird reefer fluctuations out here? Static, no response. Then I heard something that didn't belong, a sound layered under the engine, under the road, under everything. A voice, faint, dragging, cold. I froze, hands tightening on the wheel. "Nope," I whispered. "Nope, not doing this." I turned the radio on. Nothing. Just static. The voice came again, a little clearer. So cold. This time, it didn't sound like it was coming from the radio or outside. It sounded like it was coming from behind me, from the trailer. I felt my stomach drop. That's not possible. The trailer was sealed, locked, temperature controlled, no one inside. There couldn't be anyone inside. Then something hit the inside of the trailer, hard. The entire truck shuddered slightly. I sucked in a breath. Another hit. Closer this time. Like something throwing itself against the interior walls. "Stay focused," I muttered. "Cargo shift." That's all. But refrigerated loads don't move like that. They're packed tight. Then the voice changed. No longer distant, no longer weak. Now it sounded closer, stronger. "Let me out." My chest tightened. The reefer unit spiked in pitch, loud, erratic, like it was struggling. I glanced at the temperature monitor. It was dropping, fast, lower than it should have been, lower than the unit should even allow. Then the banging stopped. Silence. For a second, I thought maybe it was over. Maybe something had just malfunctioned. Maybe. Then the temperature in the cab dropped again, even colder, and I felt it. Something behind my seat, not touching me, not yet. But there, close, the air shifted, like someone leaning forward. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. "You locked it." The voice was right behind me now, clear, cold. I slammed on the brakes. The truck screeched to a stop on the empty road. I threw the door open and stumbled out, gasping as the warmer night air hit me. I backed away from the cab, shaking. "Get out," I shouted. "Whatever you are, get out." Nothing moved. The truck idled. The reefer unit buzzed again, steady now. Normal. I stood there, trying to steady my breathing. trying to convince myself I imagined it. Then I heard something from inside the trailer, a soft knock. I turned slowly. The back doors were closed, locked. Another knock, 3 this time, evenly spaced. I stepped closer before I could stop myself. "Hello?" I called out, my voice barely steady. Silence. Then, a hand pressed against the inside of the trailer door, clear as day. You could see the shape of it through the thin layer of frost forming on the metal. Fingers spread. Pushing outward, I stumbled back. No. Another hand appeared beside it. Then another, more, pressing, pounding, trying to get out. The doors rattled violently, the metal buckling slightly under the force. "You left us." Multiple voices now, overlapping, desperate, angry. I ran. I didn't even think. I just got back in the cab, slammed the door, and floored it. The banging followed, loud, relentless, the entire trailer shaking behind me. Then, all at once, it stopped. Complete silence. I didn't slow down. Didn't check the mirrors. Didn't look back. I drove straight to the next distribution center and pulled in under the brightest lights I could find. Workers came out, normal, talking, laughing. "Rough night?" one of them asked. I nodded, unable to speak. They opened the trailer. Cold air spilled out, thick, heavy. I stayed back. Didn't want to look. Didn't want to see. One of the workers frowned. "Hey, this load's off." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" He pointed inside. The pallets were there, boxes stacked like they should be. But every surface, every box, every wall was covered in frost. And across that frost were handprints, dozens of them, pressed from the inside, all facing outward, trying to get out. I don't haul refrigerated loads anymore. I don't take sealed trailers without inspecting them myself. And I never, ever ignore a sound coming from the back. Because sometimes, when it's quiet and the air gets just a little too cold, I can still hear them. Faint, distant. Don't lock it. Out west, the roads feel different. Not just empty endless. They stretch forever through land that forgot people existed. You get used to it after a while. The silence, the distance, your headlights feel small against all that open dark. But some places don't feel empty. They feel occupied. I was on a night haul through the Nevada desert, a long stretch between nowhere. It was just after 3 a.m., no other vehicle for an hour. The kind of isolation that starts messing with your head. That's when I saw the diner. It shouldn't have been there. I knew that route. I'd driven it before, many times. Nothing at that mile marker. Just desert and an old, rusted sign. But that night, there it was. A low, squat building with a flickering neon sign that read "Open," though it looked more like ON. A handful of vehicles sat in the gravel lot. Old ones, too old. Designs I hadn't seen outside of pictures. I slowed without thinking. My brain was trying to explain it. New build, I muttered. But that didn't sit right. Still, I was tired. And that sign, that glowing, flickering sign, felt like an invitation. I pulled in. The moment I shut off the engine, the silence hit me. Not desert silence. This was heavier, like the air itself had been sealed off. I stepped out. Gravel crunched under my boots. Too loud, too sharp. like the sound didn't belong. The diner windows glowed warm yellow, but the glass looked wrong, thick, distorted, like it was slightly warping what was inside. I pushed the door open. The bell chimed. Inside, everything looked normal. At first, counter, booths, checkered floor, a jukebox in the corner humming faintly, and people, 6 of them. That should have made me feel better. It didn't, because they all turned to look at me at the exact same time. Not gradually, not naturally, all at once. 6 heads, 6 pairs of eyes, locked on me. I froze in the doorway. "Evenin'," I said, forcing it out. No one responded. Then, slowly, they all turned back. At the same time, my stomach tightened. "Just tired," I whispered. "Just tired." I walked to a booth and sat down. The vinyl stuck slightly against my jacket, warm, like someone had just been sitting there. There was already a plate on the table. Eggs, toast, still steaming. I pushed it away. Not mine. A man at the counter spoke, without turning. "You ordered it." My chest tightened. "I just got here." He didn't respond. The jukebox in the corner crackled, then started playing something low and distorted, old, warbling, like the record was melting. I glanced at the other people. They weren't eating, weren't talking, just sitting and breathing, too slowly. In sync, all of them. In, out, in, out. I stood up. Nope. As I stepped back, I noticed something on the wall. A row of photos, drivers, truckers mostly, standing in front of rigs. Smiling, I stepped closer. The photos were old, faded, different decades, but the faces, they were the same. The same people sitting in the diner. Same clothes, same expressions, just older, or younger, or something in between. I backed away slowly. "That's not funny," I said. "That's not. You stayed before." The voice came from behind me. The waitress. I hadn't heard her walk up. I turned. She was too close. Smiling, not wide, just enough. "I've never been here," I said. Her head tilted slightly. "Yes," she said softly. "You have." I shook my head. "No, I would remember." She leaned closer. "You didn't leave." Something cold slid through my chest. "What?" Her smile widened just a little. "They never do." The jukebox got louder, the song distorting further. Slowing down, stretching, I looked back at the booths. The people were all looking at me again, at the same time. But this time, they were standing, all of them, without me seeing them move, just standing, closer, too close. "You can't just," I started. The man from the counter interrupted. "You were tired." Another voice. "You stopped." Another, from the side. "You sat down." The waitress right in front of me. "You stayed." My heart slammed against my ribs. "I'm leaving," I said, backing toward the door. No one moved to stop me. They just watched. All of them, smiling. I grabbed the handle and pulled the door open. The bell chimed again. The night air hit me, cold, sharp, real. I didn't stop. I ran to the truck, climbed in, started it with shaking hands. As I pulled out of the lot, I glanced at the diner one last time. The windows were dark, completely dark. No lights, no glow. No people, just an empty building. I didn't slow down, didn't look back again. At the next town, I stopped at a real truck stop. Bright lights, people, noise. I asked the clerk about the diner. He frowned. What diner? The one back en route, about 20 miles back. He shook his head slowly. There's nothing out there. I insisted. Described it. The sign. The cars. His expression changed. Not confusion. Recognition. But not the kind you want. That place burned down, he said quietly. Years ago. My stomach dropped. Burned, he nodded. Late night fire. People inside. I swallowed. No one got out? He didn't answer right away. Then, they say some of them didn't know they were gone. I didn't sleep that night. I don't take that route anymore. But sometimes, when I'm driving through empty stretches, I see it. Out of the corner of my eye, that flickering sign, still open, still waiting. And every now and then, when I pass by fast enough, I swear, I can see them inside, sitting, watching, for me to stop again. There's a kind of silence you only hear in the middle of nowhere, not the peaceful kind. Not the quiet you get in a small town at night. I mean the kind that feels like the world just stopped. No wind, no insects, no distant engines. Just you, and the feeling that something else is there too, even if you can't see it. I was running a lake route through a stretch of desert. Nothing but long, straight highway and miles of flat land. I'd been out there before. It's the kind of drive where you zone out and just let the road carry you. That night didn't let me zone out. It started with the mile markers. They stopped changing. I didn't notice it right away. You don't stare at them constantly. You just catch them in passing. But after a while, something felt off. Like I'd been seeing the same number too often. I glanced at the next one as I passed. 187. A few minutes later, another one came into view. 187. I frowned. Probably missed one, I muttered. Kept driving. 10 minutes later, 187. I slowed slightly. That wasn't possible. Even if I'd somehow looped around, which I hadn't, there would have been a turn, a sign, something. But the road had been straight. I checked the GPS. Still moving forward. Still tracking the route. Nothing wrong. Just tired, I said. Eyes playing tricks, but then I noticed something else. The horizon wasn't changing. Out there, you always see something shift. But now, everything looked exactly the same, like I'd been dropped into a loop. I pressed the gas a little harder, watched the road, watched the markers. 5 minutes later, 187. My chest tightened. Then the radio clicked on. I hadn't touched it. Static poured through the speakers. Then, a voice. Turn around. I grabbed the dial and shut it off immediately. Silence slammed back in. Nope, I whispered. I kept driving. Faster now. That's when I saw the truck. Parked on the shoulder ahead. Lights off. No reflectors. Just sitting there in the dark. I slowed as I approached. Habit. You check things like that. Make sure someone doesn't need help. As my headlights hit it, I felt something twist. It looked like my truck. Same model. Same color. Even the same company markings. That's not funny, I muttered. I eased past it, trying not to stare. But I couldn't help it. The driver's seat was empty. But the engine, it was running. I checked the mirror as I passed. The truck was gone. No shape, no shadow, nothing. I slammed my eyes forward. Nope, nope. The road stretched out ahead, unchanged, unmoving. Then I saw something standing in the middle of the road, far ahead. Just a silhouette at first. I slowed, heart pounding. As I got closer, the shape sharpened. A person, standing perfectly still, facing me. I flashed my high beams. They didn't move, didn't flinch. I hit the horn. Nothing. Move, I muttered. Move. They didn't. I slowed almost to a stop. Then they lifted their arm, slowly, and pointed. Not at me, past me. Behind me, I felt a cold wave run through my body. I didn't look. I couldn't. Move, I said again, louder now. The figure's head tilted slightly. Then it stepped forward, not out of the way, toward me. I slammed on the brakes. The truck screeched to a stop just feet away. I stared through the windshield. The figure was gone. Completely gone. No footsteps. No movement. Nothing. I sat there, breathing hard, hands shaking. Just keep going, I whispered. I pressed the gas. As I drove forward, I made the mistake of checking the mirror. The figure was standing behind my trailer, right in the center of the road, and it wasn't alone anymore. There were more. Shapes, standing in a line, all facing my truck, all perfectly still. I snapped my eyes forward. The mile marker came into view. 187. I felt something in my chest drop completely. Then, a knock. From inside the cab, behind me, I froze. Another knock, closer. Then, a voice, right next to my ear. You passed us before. I slammed the brakes again. The truck jolted to a stop. I threw the door open and jumped out. The desert air hit me, cold, real. I turned around slowly. The road behind me was empty. No figures, no truck, no anything, just darkness. I stood there, trying to steady my breathing, trying to convince myself it wasn't real. Then I noticed something in the distance. A glow, faint, like headlights, coming toward me. Relief flooded through me. Finally, another vehicle. I stepped closer to the road, waiting. The headlights got brighter, closer. Then, I saw the shape. A truck. Same model, same color, my truck, driving toward me. I stumbled back. No, no, no. As it passed, I saw the driver. It was me. Hands on the wheel, eyes forward, but something was wrong. My face, it wasn't reacting. No blinking, no movement. Just staring straight ahead, like I wasn't really in control. The truck passed, disappeared into the darkness behind me. I turned slowly. Nothing there, just the road, the mile marker beside me. 187. I don't remember how I got out of that stretch. At some point, the numbers started changing again. The horizon shifted. The world felt normal. But I don't drive through there anymore. Not at night, not ever. Because sometimes, when I'm alone on a long, empty road, I glance at the mile markers, just to make sure they're changing. And every once in a while, for just a second, I swear I see it. 187.